you ever had a client go a little crazy and go crazy about you?
How so?
You know, like sex, especially orgasms, are such a big, giant chemical thing that happens. I mean, it's dopamine receptors, and you do go a little crazy when you're having orgasms with somebody. We know it's a chemical thing. Have you ever had women go crazy and want you all the time and stalk you and call you? And
I mean, even
especially the ones who've never had.
And
if you're so nice on the phone, you can't get rid of them. Like,
first time I ever experienced that was back when, as I said, I used to work as a male companion, and it was what I did. Yes, I pleasured women sexually. I'll say it, and I had instances with that. I would have clients who became enamored by me, and that was a difficult thing. And same thing with what I did for some of the people I worked with touching and whatnot. Yeah, they become enamored, and it's a difficult thing. Even with ones that I haven't touched, it's because I'm now talking about something that's very intimate, and they share themselves, and they can this is something even with I'm sure with your work, you have to be very you're helping people,
a safe
because now I've now done this thing. You understand me.
Yeah.
I like you.
Yeah. You got to be really careful.
And it's tough.
But see, I think this is awesome. We're also sex worker advocates and allies, and I mean, there's the whole idea of...
Well, technically, we are sex workers.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
But like for men going to female prostitutes, it's like a lot of times they're taught it's a God-given right, you're going to get to do it, it's a rite of passage. Basically, the prostitute becomes they're second-class citizens, like, oh yeah, you just use them, you pay them, don't worry about it. And I feel like probably with the women it's a little different. It's, when a woman is coming to you, it's like, oh my God, it's probably mind-blowing for them, So I can imagine they do get enamored with you,
If I'm allowed to get scientific for just a minute.
You're allowed.
Thank you.
Nerd.
Nerd.
Part of what happens, especially when a woman has an orgasm, there's some brain chemistry that's happening that actually makes her feel connected to her partner. And that's part of some of the current theories on coupling, people staying as couples.
Oxytocin,
The oxytocin and these other things happening, there's a lot of brain chemistry happening that are creating certain emotions and reactions. So if you're giving her an orgasm, or you're even giving her an intimate space where she can feel safe and intimate and close to someone, that's it. There's like part of her brain chemistry that's now reading off of you and kind of doing this. Oh, this is someone I love, that I'm in love with, that I want to spend time with, that I want to be with, and blah, blah. She may know nothing else about you. But that's part of the brain chemistry that's happening. So I can see how that will be really, really difficult, where the same thing doesn't necessarily happen to men. When men orgasm, the same kind of brain chemistry processes aren't necessarily happening. And it's not that men can't feel close to their partners, obviously, but it's not quite the same chemically.
Well, also biologically, historically, the human animal, it's that whole, I could get pregnant, there could be a child I need you to help take care of.
Sure.
There's that bonding. Even though we think we've stepped out of it, it's hard for us to get away from that,
I was wondering, did you read the article that I posted not that long ago? I posted an article, copy of an article, about how someone has actually done some research using anthropology and sociology, and actually some heavy anthropology going back to pre-Homo sapien, to sort of argue the idea that we've always been these binary couple systems that were monogamous by nature.
Yeah, I want to see this.
And it really argues this idea that we're not monogamous by nature. That early Homo sapiens and before that we lived in small groups, and that this idea of the small group is the way that small group survives is everybody shares everything, and you share childcare, and you share sexual partners, and you share food, and you share everything. And so that when we were in these small nomadic tribes, we were not monogamous. There was no need to be. you didn't have to worry about if my child was your child because you didn't have property, I didn't have property, the child isn't your property, the child is the property of the group.
This is socialist.
Free human.
And do you know how many people make fun of Hillary Clinton's book, It Takes a Village? They get so upset about that.
Well,
mostly Republicans, like, no, it does not take a village to raise my child. I can raise my child.
Tape.
We're running out of tape. Yeah, because we're past an hour, right?
Nice.
It's got 5 minutes left.
And it was such a great show.
It's so great. We've got about 5 minutes.
That whole premise of We Got a Village, I mean, I actually like that premise.
We've lost
I like that premise. But then we shouldn't be surprised because there's a big movement nowadays, or talk over, at least in the last year, of poly relationships. It's now like,
you mean they've made it to the mainstream media?
Really,
they've always been around.
It's always been around, but it's really
it's made it as a real word. And
it's a real, but it's it's a big thing. So it makes sense with the poly and what you're saying with with open relationships.
Because I see a lot of pain with the whole white picket fence and the perfect house in the suburbs. I'm sorry.
Really
I see, like,
really
maybe everybody's insane.
I want to ask, there's Alonzo in the chat room, and I can't understand your question. Can you retype it? It says, isn't our physiology many partners? And I don't know what you mean by that. So if you can word that
probably
differently.
Saying, are we biologically?
Are we biologically set for several partners? Oh, is that what you're asking?
There's a lot we don't know because all we have is bones. We don't have writings from prehumans. There's the assumption
of a lot we don't know about our own brain chemistry and how that works.
I always say things. I take things to the primal. Okay, we are animals.
Yeah,
okay,
we are.
On the most biological level, we are simple creatures. We are simple creatures.
With this stupid brain.
And I think one of the best things that are out there is seeing how other animals react. And I was fortunate enough to go see the Museum of Sex in New York. If you're in New York, go to it. They had this whole section on animals and sexualities and stuff. And it makes, if you correlate ourselves, we are not any different than other species of animals. So that being the argument whether we're geared for multiple partners, yes, I think we are.
Yeah.
However, I think that we also can be geared for one partner. Whether it is. It's again comes down to you choose that. I think you can choose it as well as it being programmed biologically into you.
So we probably have exactly 1 minute.
About 1 minute? Well, I want to thank you very much for coming on.
I was happy, and I love to come back and whatever.
We'll bring you back.
We should keep you as a regular. You got to tell us more.
Definitely.
5 minute guy.
So we will let you guys know when we're going to do our next show. We have to
I will let
coordinate
you know.
schedules,
sometime in September,
traveling and everything.
Yeah.
But it'll be sometime in September. We'll make sure you get a note out. Friend us on Facebook or whatever. Find us on Center for Positive Sexuality and sign up for the e-newsletter through there. And you'll get an email from us about it, and we'll have it on Facebook. And whether you're coming in for either go to positivesexuality.org, you can go to exquisiterestraint.com, or thepleasurecoach.org.
Think orgasm.
Exactly. And you can get information on all of us. And if you get one of us and need the other one's contact information, you can get that too. And we'll also do our best to post stuff through Ustream and everything else. And thank you guys very much. We had a lot of fun. And hopefully, not too much of this got censored. We'll have to see what happens later. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care.